I'm excited to be here with Mr. Kyle Setchel. He's a systems engineer at RaceTrac Petroleum. Kyle, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So today we're just talking about 2020 architectural visions and modernization. And so I'm curious, what are your plans for 2020? Where are you going to invest your time and money when it comes to your IT architecture and your IT organization?
So we've got mostly three kind of areas that we're trying to push into. We've got some hardware refresh that's coming up through. We're also trying to get off of our three-tier architecture we have right now and trying to get over towards an HCI vendor.
Okay.
We have a little bit of HCI now. We want to get more
Yeah.
HCI and try and get that throughout our whole data center. And then the last piece is really starting to dive more into the software-defined areas. And in particular, I think my biggest traction is software-defined networking right now.
Really?
So
Okay.
that's kind of the three pushes. Actually, there's one more push. The kind of the disaster recovery side of this. Our disaster recovery needs to be a little bit better than it is now.
Yeah.
And it's not super well defined, and we want to really explore that out and see where we can get it.
Okay. So software-defined networking, specifically disaster recovery and hyperconvergence. I'm excited
Yes.
to hear that as well. And so how do you feel that this is going to help your IT organization or your end users?
So the HCI piece of it, I think mostly it's a little self-serving of I want to be able to go through and not have to worry about a lot of the bells and whistles that come with having three separate pieces of this three-tier architecture you have to almost manage separately.
Yeah.
And kind of squishing it all into one, and then you just have one place that you're going to go update it all. And a lot of the HCI vendors out there are really saying, yes, we see that, and we're going to make this super easy for you to put in, to add, to and update the best, in the easiest way you possibly can. So the drop in administrative effort is almost salivating, because I just don't want to deal with all these separate pieces and separate maintenance windows and separate nightmares that can happen from it. So it gives you, really collapses that stack to really allow the ease of administration, to allow you to pay attention to some of the other stuff that's going on.
Nice. Yeah, I see more and more companies moving to HCI. And then you mentioned hardware refresh. I forgot about that one. I'm sure that's just a constant, never-ending battle at every IT organization out there.
Contracts. What contracts are coming up? What hardware is getting long in the tooth? All right, do we want to try and keep this? Do we not want to try and keep that? And just all these constant jockeying of figuring out, okay, what are we going to try and tackle this time around? Do we want to push this off? Do we want to tackle this now? What are we going to look at? Are we going to look at a different vendor? Are we going to try and stick with the vendor we got? It's all kind of feeling the market and saying, okay, who's the leading out there? Who should we be paying attention to? So there's that jockeying that always happens.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your 2020 vision with us, Kyle.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.